Is that because the Atma is the truth and God is in us, and that is why Krishna is Achinkya?
So,
because we use
for something to be chintyam, that thing has to be an object of thought. That has to be an object of our perception. If not perception, at least object of thought. Correct? And so, the Krishna that we visualize, we do visualize Krishna, we do see Krishna, we have Krishna in our puja room. Krishna is there all over, everywhere Krishna is there, no doubt. That Krishna has a form. So Krishna with a particular form, with a flute, with a particular shape, etc. If he's standing, otherwise Balakrishna, otherwise some other type of Krishna is always there. Okay. And so that is Saguna Brahma Krishna. Guna Brahma means what? It is a Krishna with a form. The minute you say Krishna with a form, then you can meditate on it, on Krishna. You can do puja also. That is why puja, you have to say, initially you have to do avahana. You have to say Asmin Murtau or Asmin Bibbe Sri Krishnam Avahayami, you have to say. Because even though I see the form there, you have to make it live. Live. Make it live. Bring the real Krishna into this form Krishna, Murti Krishna. Then puja becomes real.
Meaningful.
Huh?
Meaningful.
Meaningful. I mean, the puja is a very meaningful process, no doubt. And so then after the puja is done, you can send back Krishna. Yathasthanam pratishtapayami. Important step. And so Krishna, go back to wherever you have to go. Okay. You're a busy man, so I understand. So go back. Now I've held you enough, long enough, right? So that is Saguna Krishna, Saguna Brahma Krishna. But Nirguna Brahma Krishna, you can call Nirguna Brahma by any word, but that Krishna is going to be formless. Formless. All pervasive has to be formless. And we don't say God is in us. God is in us is a starting point. That's how we grow up. That is correct. That's a way to grow up, really. God is in us is better. And then after a point, God is in us will mean that it is like the pen is in the pot. If the child asks the mom, is it like pen is in the pot? Is that the way God is in us? Then you have to say, my God, my son is asking such a great question. He is something else. I think, you know what? I won't answer this question. I know somebody who can answer your question, and quietly take him off to somebody. Hand him over to somebody else. Correct? Only that person can explain and make this. Boys already come that far. Because if it is like the pen in the pot, if God is in us like the pen is in the pot, then God can be located in the body somewhere. Located somewhere. If something is located somewhere, it can't be all pervasive. Sarvatragam, mastu, na bhavati eva. Okay, not possible. And definitely not abhyaktam. And because form, some minute form somewhere. Therefore, then we have to say, we have to begin to understand after Shravanam, we will say, God and us, there is no fundamental difference. God is me. Fundamentally, God is me. Okay? That is how. So that Nirgunam Brahma is Atma. That is what is the meaning of Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Atma Nirgunam Brahma Asmi. Correct? Anything else you had in mind, Hemantaj?
So when you started, I realized the whole this thing of Nirgunam and Sattva. Thank you.
Yeah. And Guruji, if we say God is in me, then it would mean we are supporting God.
Yeah, so all these problems will start coming. Correct? Then the Matstani, then I can say Matstani, Sarva Bhutani, because God is in me, So I'm the one who support. If I'm supporting God, I'm supporting the world also, Therefore,
But
correct?
Guruji, Brahman by default would always mean Nirguna only, right? When we say just Brahman, it is Nirguna, correct?
Correct. 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 Nirgunameva. All gunas are superimposed on Brahma. Suppose you ask the next question, follow up. Then what about all the gunas? What about all the attributes? What about all the sizes, shapes, finite, this, that? Everything is there. So many things are there. What about all that? Superimposed on Brahma. Like what? Like our friend here. What is superimposed on clay? Clay is really formless, really speaking. But then I say there is a form. If I say, I'm superimposing a form on clay. And this example is not perfect because outside pot, there is no clay, I don't see any clay. Therefore, clay itself seems to be finite. Otherwise, if you look at Jagat, then everything becomes a super. Useful superimposition. Useful superimposition. Otherwise, everything is Brahma, therefore I can eat this, I can eat that, everything like the child, Small babies do that. They don't know anything other than just putting everything in their mouth. And so, no, you can't do that. Yeah, Ramesh ji and Bhagyashri ji.
My question is, I don't know if it's a question or it's very basic. You said Pramanam. The basic, what is the basic meaning of Pramanam when you say, oh, this is the Pramana,
Yeah. Pramakaranam Pramanam. So Prama means knowledge. Prama means knowledge. Prama. So you have Swamiji called Pramananda. Like that, we have Prama. So Pramakarana, that which gives rise to knowledge is called Pramanam. Some knowledge. It has to give rise to some kind of knowledge. Therefore, when I say my eyes are a Pramanam, when I say, I can say, why? Because the eye is such an important entity in our body that without eyes, I can't recognize forms and shapes and colors. Form, shapes, colors. Or at least colors. Form at least by touching, I can make out, correct? But I can't know the color of this pot without using my eyes. The color is a safe bet, right? And so color, so varnam, and in general form also attributed to eyes. So there, why is eyes called the pramana? Because only the eyes. You can't say I'm not good at my sight is gone and therefore let me use my ears to see. I can't say that. Because I can't say that, eyes become pramana. Only the eyes is responsible for giving us that particular aspect of any object in this world, and therefore it's called pramanam. And that's the example of pramanam. But Shastram also is pramanam. For what? For Vastu, for Atma, for Brahma, Shastram is pramanam. For everything else, you don't need Shastra. For everything else, you don't need Shastra. Everything else means what? For all the objects in this earth, at least, you have to see, you have to experience, you have to smell, taste, touch, whatever. These are the only 5 things we can do. And you don't need Shastra. Reading books, poetry, invention, anything is possible using the mind and buddhi also. Creativity, so much is there. All that is possible. You don't need Shastram for all this, correct? So using the pramanams I have, I can lead a life. I can even be helpful to other people. Okay, that's even better. And so, Shastram is not needed. Okay, Shastram is needed for a Sanatana Dharmi because Shastram is what guides me by telling me to do this, don't do that, etc. and do it this way, etc. That only Shastram can tell us. Their Shastram is Pramanam. Why it's Pramanam? Because if it were not for the Shastram, I would not know those karmas. Okay? I would not know those karmas. Antyeshti, Prasad's mother passed away. So he's doing all this karma. Okay? He's come all the way and he's doing the karma. So that is all. Vedam is a pramanam for that. Correct? Vedam is a pramanam. It is not created by any human being. So there we say pramanam. Why? Because Vedas give us the knowledge of what to do when something like that happens. Pramanam, right? Means of knowledge. And for Brahma Vidya also, Vedas are a means of knowledge. Why? How do we know that? Because it is the Vedas that says that you are free. You are Nitya Muktaha. You are not born to begin with. And you are not what you think you are. No other person or book can make this statement. Book makes a statement, then you have to look at the author. Author made that statement because the author also got that idea from what? From the Shastram. Correct? So Shastram is the pramanam for Atma. Shastram is the pramanam for Paramatma. And of course, Shastram is the pramanam for Swargadi, etc. Vaikunta, Kailasa, Swarga, so many Puhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha. Those lokas, only Vedas talks about. Without the Vedas, there's no chance of us knowing all this. Okay? I hope you understand what pramanam is.
So, the reason I got confused here, you said pramanam is also like anirdeshya. You use that word, so I got little confused. Revealing Atma is pramanam. So Atma, that is the one we experience, is anirdeshya.
Yeah, so I didn't mention it in the class, but that's a good question. So the question is straightforward. Wait. On the one hand, you're saying Brahma is Achintyam, Agocharam, Indriya Agocharam, Mano Agocharam. And then on the other hand, you're saying Veda is a pramana for Atma, which means Veda is going to tell me what Atma is and I'm supposed to know it also after that. That means I can know Atma. That means what? It's contradictory. One is I can know Atma and then I can't know Atma because Achintyam, Yeah. So in Viveka Chudamani, so it's possible. So I'll come to Viveka Chudamani later. It's possible. Why it's possible? By showing that you are not what you think you are. Everything else is shown. And then saying that you are not anything you think of. Shastram is revealing Atma through the word Sachidananda, etc. Therefore, Sachidananda also is not a direct definition of Atma. When you take all the Anatma out, what remains is Atma. What remains is Nirgunam Brahma. Therefore, the implied meaning of the words of the Shastram is who I am. That is the way to be understood. Okay? So there is no contradiction per se. But Achintyam Brahma can be understood. Understood not as an object. Every other understanding we talked about is an object. Achintyam means what? Vishaya Rupena Achintyam. As an object. Everything I know today is an object of my thought. It's a finite entity. But Atma is infinite. Atma is Sarvavyapi, Atma is Sarvagataha, Nityam, etc. Can I understand it? Yeah, I will understand it, not as an object. Not as an object means what? Subject. Subject means what? I. not as an object. Object is finite. Subject is finite or infinite? All along I was thinking subject is finite, but subject is infinite. That is what the Shastra is saying. Therefore, Shastra is pramana. It gives me a new knowledge, and that knowledge which is very important for me. It can't be a knowledge like how to invest in stocks post-COVID. I think I quoted this example many times now. I have to change the example later, but this is the example that comes to me. So now, how to invest in stocks post-COVID is what? It's knowledge, no doubt. But suppose I say I'm not interested in it. Some people are interested in it, some people are not interested in it. Not interested. But here, this knowledge, nobody can say I'm not interested in it. Because why? Because everybody is interested in moksha. Everybody is interested in freedom from samsara. Therefore, this knowledge is a must. Because that knowledge frees me completely. Yeah, therefore, it is not a subject like anything else. A study of any subject is optional. I can study something, I can study geology, or I don't have to study geology. And even if I study geology, it doesn't take samsara away from me. Previously, I was what? I was a non-geologist samsari. Now I'm a geologist samsari. I've graduated now. I don't know which samsari is better or worse. So good. That's a good question now.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
Yes.
ಜಯಕುಮಾರ್ಜಿ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
I'll remember to. I'll see if I can remember to. Remind me next class. I want to mention it because many people have left.
ವಿವೇಕ ಚೂಡಾಮಣಿ. Yeah.
Yeah, that I'll mention in the next class. Just remind me. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else? This message is here. 6 blind men of Hindustan.
You wanted to bring that Vivek Chudamani. Of course.
Yeah, I'll mention it. I'll mention it in the next.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Six blind men, there is a poem. That it's describing the indescribable.
Which one? That elephant?
Elephant.
Okay. Yeah.
Elephant. Might have heard about it, no?
Yeah, elephant.
Six blind men of Hindustan.
Good. So we will conclude now. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasha Hastaya Sarvamaya Vinashanaya Trailokyanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
Thank you.